President Donald Trump expressed 100% confidence in reaching a trade deal with the European Union during Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's White House visit, the first by a European leader since Trump imposed and then paused a sweeping tariff regime against the EU. Transatlantic tariff wall. The transatlantic trade relationship has been dramatically transformed under Trump's administration, with tariffs creating an economic wall between longtime allies. On April 2, 2025, dubbed Liberation Day, Trump imposed 20% tariffs on all goods from the European Union as part of his reciprocal tariff policy. This move represented a stark ideological clash between Trump's protectionism and the EU's commitment to free trade, with the US shifting focus toward becoming a production powerhouse rather than a consumption-driven economy. In response, the EU developed a two-phase retaliatory plan, initially reinstating tariffs from Trump's first term, and then introducing new tariffs, targeting $18 billion worth of US industrial and agricultural goods. The situation eased slightly when Trump announced a 90-day pause on the 20% tariffs on April 9th, reducing them to 10% during negotiations. The EU reciprocated by suspending its countermeasures for the same period. During this pause, the EU offered a 040 tariff scheme for industrial goods, though Trump maintained he was in no rush to finalize agreements, stating that tariffs are making us rich. Despite the temporary European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen warned that if dialogue failed, the EU would unleash trade bazooka measures, potentially including digital advertising taxes targeting American tech giants. Meloni's EU intermediary role. Meloni's visit to Washington positioned her as a crucial bridge between the EU and Trump's administration, with her role carefully coordinated with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. As the leader of the EU's third-largest exporter to the US, Meloni walked a diplomatic tightrope, representing broader European interests while maintaining her personal rapport with Trump, whom she had previously met at Mar-a-Lago. During the talks, Meloni clarified she couldn't negotiate on behalf of the entire EU, but proposed inviting Trump to Italy for an official visit that would include meetings with European leaders. My goal would be to invite President Trump to pay an official visit to Italy and understand if there's a possibility when he comes to organize also such a meeting with Europe, she stated, emphasizing the need to speak frankly about the needs that every one of us has and find ourselves in the middle. This approach aligns with recommendations from policy experts, who suggest Meloni should frame European unity not as a threat to Trump's agenda, but as a force multiplier for the transatlantic partnership. What specific measures could Meloni propose to ease tariff tensions? Specific measures Meloni could propose to ease tariff tensions. As a key intermediary between the EU and the Trump administration, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni could put forward a range of pragmatic and strategic measures to help reduce tariff tensions and pave the way for a mutually beneficial trade deal. Here are some specific proposals she might consider. Gradual tariff reduction agreement. Propose a phased rollback of existing tariffs on both sides, starting with sensitive industrial sectors like automotive and machinery. Set clear timelines and benchmarks for tariff reductions tied to successful negotiations on broader trade issues. Commitment to 040 tariffs on industrial goods. Advocate for the EU 040 proposal, where the EU and the US eliminate tariffs on industrial goods reciprocally. This would encourage increased transatlantic industrial trade, without immediately impacting more politically sensitive agricultural products. Enhanced trade dialogue platform. Establish a high-level joint EU-US trade dialogue mechanism to resolve disputes quickly before escalating to tariffs. Include regular meetings between negotiators to identify emerging issues early and foster transparency. Collaboration on regulatory standards. Encourage mutual recognition or harmonization of standards and certifications, reducing non-tariff barriers that effectively act as trade walls. This could cover automotive emissions, technology standards, and food safety protocols. Addressing agricultural market access. Propose a balanced approach on agricultural tariffs by identifying select EU agricultural products that could enter the U.S. market tariff-free or at reduced rates, in exchange for easing tariffs on U.S. agricultural imports in the EU. Support joint initiatives to promote sustainable farming and food safety. Aligning standards to build trust.
On Jerome Powell, you said that the termination of Jerome Powell cannot come fast enough. He says he won't leave, even if you ask him to.
Oh, he'll leave. If I ask him to, he'll be out of there. But I don't think he's doing the job. He's too late, always too late, a little slow, and I'm not happy with him. I let him know it, and if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast, believe me. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, please. Question.
Are you trying to remove him, Mr. President?
Yeah, question?
Mr. President, when you hit Judge Mosberg in a case against your administration, the Constitution does not tolerate willful disobedience of judicial order. Do you agree with that statement?
Well, you're going to have to speak to the lawyers. We have great lawyers. I can tell you this, we're doing a fantastic job of getting criminals out of this country who Biden allowed into the country. Hundreds of thousands of criminals, murderers and drug dealers. And I was elected because of the fact, I would say maybe that was the number one fact for a lot of reasons, the economy, a lot of things. But one of the primary reasons I was elected is because I said, I'm going to get the criminals that he allowed to come into our country so stupidly through open borders. I'm going to get them out. And I got a lot of votes, record-setting numbers of votes, as you know. We won everything. The popular vote, all 7 swing states, we won everything. And that's what the public wanted, and that's what I'm doing. But you'll have to speak to the lawyers because it's up to them.
Mr. President, what do you think of the proposal from France?
Say it.
What do you think of the proposal from France and UK of a peace mission in Ukraine with soldiers? And do you think that Italy should take part in it?
Well, I think Italy will have to make that determination, but peace missions are always good with me. I'm okay with peace missions. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, have you discussed what areas of cooperation and discussed with the Prime Minister vis-a-vis Italy and the United States and Europe? And on China?
We discussed it very briefly. No, we're doing very well with negotiations, I think, with all countries. And Scott could tell you a little bit, but we are doing very well. We have a lot of countries that want to make a deal. Frankly, they want to make deals more than I do. Go ahead, Scott. Would you say something?
Yeah, we've got a process in place. We're working on the big 15 economies. First, we had a fantastic meeting with Japan yesterday. I believe they've been called with the EU already. And then we have South Korea coming in next week. And I believe India is also talking. That's moving very quickly.
Go ahead.
Ukraine's President Zelensky is saying he's interested in China supplying weaponry or ammunition to Russia. Do you have any evidence on those lines? Also, he said we could see a minerals deal signed this week.
Well, we have a minerals deal, which I guess is going to be signed on Thursday, Scott, next Thursday, soon. And I assume they're going to live up to the deal, so we'll see. But we have a deal on that. No, I have no comment on that. I have no idea. That's his statement, not mine.
Mr. President, there were reports that the UAE off the Israeli attack on Iranian nuclear facilities. Can you comment on that? Is that accurate?
And they say the attack is what?
That you waved off an Israeli plan to attack Iranian nuclear facilities.
I wouldn't say waved off. I'm not in a rush to do it because I think that Iran has a chance to have a great country and to live happily without death. And I'd like to see that. That's my first option.